morning, Wareham. It is Friday, June 12th. We have a great show here for you. The news headlines, the weather report, and of course, today in history. Now, because of the coronavirus pandemic, most of us are working from home. I do have the set, but it means that our show has changed. We do not have live guests in the show, but the show is still just as interesting as you remember it. So this morning we are going to broadcast my interviews that I did over the week, and you'd see some things that we are highlighting that took place maybe weeks ago. But all in all, it's going to be a fantastic show. Before we dive into our program, you know it, I have to thank our sponsor, the one and only Not Your Average Antiques, that are located down Cranberry Highway in East Wareham, for donating the props that you see in the morning show. So stay tuned, because the weather and the news headlines are next. Wareham residents gathered for a Black Lives Matter protest last Saturday. Hundreds marched in support of Black Lives Matter movement against police brutality and injustice. The march began at Bessie Park, and protesters got to walk all the way to the Wareham police station. The event was very peaceful. Several speakers talked about their experiences overall in this movement. Wareham Fire Department Committee voted to put off the future of the current Onset Fire Station on hold, as the district is currently building a new fire station on Sanpan Road near the old Salvation Army, which is set to be complete by next April. The district plans to offer more opportunities for residents to share their ideas for the property's future. District elections were held on Tuesday, June 9th. The Wareham Annual Town Meeting will be held at 7 p.m. on Monday, June 15th in the Wareham High School Gymnasium at 7 Viking Drive. Due to the coronavirus pandemic, social distancing is required and all attendees must wear a mask. If you are sick or have a fever, you are encouraged to stay home. There will also be fewer articles than usual on the docket. A number of articles necessary for the routine financial business of the town to continue will be combined into a consent agenda to pass with a single vote. Those representing articles will be allowed to speak for only 5 minutes, and comments will be limited to 2 minutes. If you have any further questions, please reach out to our town moderator, Claire Smith, at moderator@wareham.ma.us. Restaurants around Wareham are reopening their doors after a month of closure due to the pandemic. Phase 2 of Baker's plan for reopening Massachusetts allows outdoor dining at restaurants, retailers to open their stores at a reduced capacity, along with outdoor amateur sports, some post-secondary and vocational skills, and some childcare facilities and day camps. Indoor dining may be allowed to resume later in Phase 2, while bars will not be able to open until Phase 4. And that is all for today's news headlines. Coming next is the weather. A mixture of clouds and sunshine today. Temperatures will get close to 80 degrees and dropping tonight in the upper 50s. 73 degrees tomorrow, Saturday, June 13th. Some sun and some clouds. Temperatures will drop at night in mid-50s. We are looking at closer to 70 degrees on Sunday with a mixture of clouds and some sunshine. So overall, it's going to be a wonderful weekend. The temperatures just right to go and grab some ice cream, especially on Sunday there and today. So this concludes this morning weather forecast. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to continue with more.
Today's cell phones are not only an extension of our arms, but a life tool. Hello, I am Maureen Farrington from Advantage Custom Apps. I am here today to talk about a certain app, a tool that will help you navigate your way through the Wareham community. The WCTV app places your local community in the palm of your hand. The app is a place where you will find local events, town meetings, local and school sports, community interest stories, compelling interviews, and most of all, the ability to shop local. Connect to the Wareham app by going to your web browser and typing in wctv.app. And then, once you bring up the web link, you have the opportunity of adding WCTV's app to your home screen. Once you download the app and save it to your home screen, you will then have the opportunity to, with the touch of a finger, hit the call button, which we call WCTV, the refer us button. You can refer the app to your friends and families. There's a Facebook share button if you'd like to put that on your Facebook page as well. And here is the menu tab. On the menu tab, we have YouTube videos, new program proposal, events that WCTV is hosting, a photo gallery, contact button, and can lead you right to their website. We also have a Shop Local tab. When you touch on that, you'll see the local businesses that you can frequent. Also, there's an About Us tab telling you some information about WCTV, their hours and directions. This here will take you right to their Facebook page. There is a donate button if you would like to donate to WCTV, and a join button that will let you join their community. Many local establishments are listing their business on the WCTV app. And you can too. It's a great way to showcase your business to your existing customers and your potential new ones. For a nominal fee, you could list your business on the Shop Local tab as well. A percentage of that fee goes to fund a scholarship for an outgoing senior. So be in the now and get the WCTV app on your home screen.
There was a Black Lives Matter protest and everything went peaceful. Here is the full story. Walking down Main Street in Wareham, you will notice a lot of boarded up businesses, all in preparations for tonight's Black Lives Matter protest decrying police brutality. After news coverage of looting and rioting across the nation in light of George Floyd's murder, businesses across Main Street are not taking chances. But some community members are saying that this picture is sending a bad message.
I believe putting these boards up on the building is, like almost giving a bad message out to people, like we're not animals. And I don't believe nobody's gonna, hurt any businesses around here or nothing like that. I'm almost positive of that. I'm from here all my life. And hopefully it's just a peaceful protest.
Okay, and lately, what is your take of what has been happening across the nation?
I'm pretty disgusted at the officers that were involved and the other officers that continue to do bad things. But not all officers are bad.
Tonight's protest is one among many across the nation by the Black Lives Matter movement, protesting police brutality and the systematic racism against black and brown people.
It is almost like it was like something that needed to happen huge to get people to notice and understand, not only worldwide, but even in the towns and the cities, that the justice is not being fair to all people.
What message do you have in light of everything that is happening across the nation?
People need to get together and stop this foolishness, this racism shit. It's really getting out of hand. It's really out of hand. Everybody should love each other and help each other, because we're not going to get nowhere being divided. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for sharing. Not a lot is known about tonight's event, but according to Wareham Week, one of tonight's organizers is Jazzy Endred. I've reached out to Jazzy to learn more about tonight's Black Lives Matter protest, but she has declined to comment at this time. But what we know is Protesters are going to convene at Bessie Park and they will walk together down to Wareham Police Station. But also on Jesse Andred's Facebook page, a post is also mentioning another protest that is scheduled for tonight at 6 p.m., another Black Lives Matter protest. And we are not sure if the one from Onset, people will also walk all the way about 4 miles or with some change to Wareham Police Station. So that is still unclear. Reporting here on Main Street, I am Queen Banda of WCTV. Dealing with COVID-19 is tough, but losing your home can be life devastating. Here is the full story. Around 4 p.m. on Friday, May 8th, an off-duty cop noticed flames from a mobile home in the Silver Lake Trailer Park down Cranberry Highway in Wareham.
Somebody came knocking down the side of my trailer and his trailer. I said, "What's the matter?" He said, "The trailer's on fire." I looked out, I didn't see anything. Then I heard this big smash, and the windows blew out, and then the flames came up.
Dennis Kane and Kathy Watson, the owners, were not home during the time, but Sharon, their neighbor, knew that the couple had a 5-year-old shepherd.
He says, "Is anybody in there?" And I said, "No." And then I said, "Yeah, Sarge is in there." And I said, "Sarge is the dog." I said, "We gotta get him out." So he ran over and I said, "You gotta kick that door in." He kicked it 3 times and finally the frame came off and he yelled, I don't know what he yelled, "Puppy or doggy, come here." And I'm like, oh, black smoke. And I said, "Sarge, Sarge." And Sarge came out, stuck in between my legs and just shaking. I don't think he would have come out unless he was burnt. Something was burning him.
Dennis was on his way home when he received the call.
So when you got here, what was the state of the trailer?
Well, the back
the whole
was still
thing
up
was
and
on
everything,
flames.
but the whole back was on.
It had flames
coming up.
coming out of the back, the whole top.
When you saw it, what did you feel? Tell me what.
It hurt me because it was my place to live. And now I'm living in a motel all over again. It's crazy.
Why are you saying all over again?
Because when we lived in a motel before we found this place in Buzzards Bay. And we lived there for like 2 months. And then we found this. It was hard.
The Silver Lake Trailer Park has been home to the couple for 7 years.
What is the anxiety going along with this, Mama?
It's a lot of stress. It was hard. Especially almost losing my baby. He's my buddy, though. I won't leave him home again, though. He'll never be left home again by himself.
Dennis and Kathy are looking forward to getting a new trailer so they can rebuild their lives.
Look at that, babe. He used to sleep in that room.
So I see a bureau there. That was the bedroom.
Yes, that's where the fire started.
Oh my goodness! And you can really tell that was the epicenter.
Yeah. And then it just ripped out the bathroom. There's no bathroom left.
Dennis and Kathy cannot wait to get a new trailer so they can rebuild their lives and have a place to call home at last.
Just want to know how long we have before they put another trailer in, so I know a time frame where I can go. Because it's two adults and a dog, a big dog that family would have to put up, and it's hard for them, and I don't want to feel like I'm putting them out, imposing on anyone or anything.
They may have lost 20 years of memories and belongings from that fire, but the couple is grateful that they and Sergeant still got each other. And what's like to be an expected mom during the pandemic? It has its moments. Here is Dunia Furtado's story.
Hi, baby. My baby.
That is Dunia Furtado rubbing her stomach, saying hello to her son-to-be.
I love everything about being pregnant, the attention.
This is Dunia's first pregnancy.
I am 100% ready to be a mom. Will I, be able to accomplish everything at 100%? I do not know. I'm not sure how that's going to go. The love, and attention and the caring, it's already there.
Every day she communicates with her mother, who lives in Cape Verde, for expertise on pregnancy and motherhood via Facebook.
It's so funny. The other day, I'm like, so I'm 35 weeks and I still see no milk. And I was talking to her And she was like, no, sometimes it's after the baby is born. So it's kind of crazy that I'm about to be a mother and I don't know a lot of stuff. But that's what my mother is there for, is to teach me and guide me in those moments. And right now I feel a little bit lost.
It has been a great pregnancy, she says, but these days, many things are keeping her awake at night.
So money is the first thing that comes to mind. We are on unemployment. My husband's company, we don't know what's next. We don't know when he's going to go back, if he's ever going to go back, or if he has to look for something new. With me, when I go on maternity leave, I only get paid 67% of my salary, which is basically nothing.
And because money is tight, moving out from their one-bedroom apartment in Brockton is not an option.
This is the baby's play yard with the bassinet and a changing table. As you can see, we had to manage so he can fit by my side of the bed. Just trying to get some stuff.
There's not much space to move around, so the baby doesn't have a dresser just for him. So my husband did, he actually gave some of his drawers for the baby.
She only leaves their house to attend her doctor's appointments, but even that, Dunya says, it has been a lonely experience.
Even when I get to the doctors, like they are measuring your temperature at the door, they don't allow my husband in, so it's just me. It is very lonely because the beauty of pregnancy is like both of you guys sharing that moment, especially like on the last appointment, she was doing the heartbeat and I had to record it for him.
Who will be with you in the delivery room?
As of right now, I actually don't know even if they're going to allow my husband in. I was reading something about the Brockton Hospital where they may or may not allow someone in the room. So I don't know.
How does that news settle with you, knowing that there is a possibility for your first pregnancy being in there by yourself?
That's beyond scary. That's beyond scary. Like I don't even want to think about that. Like I don't know who's gonna be holding my hand, who's gonna be telling me you'll be okay, like you can do this. I don't know. I just hope someone is there to tell me those things. I can't imagine doing it alone. I really can't. My biggest fear has always been dying during childbirth. Like, I know it's crazy. Ever since I was a kid, I heard story how my mom went through hell having me, and it got to the point that it was like either the mother or the baby.
So how are you guys coping, you and your husband, with all these uncertainties?
Well, he's a very calm person, which helps a lot. So he's like, we'll just go day by day, like as long as the baby's healthy, we can manage anything.
But what have you learned about yourself during this pandemic?
I have learned that we have to contempt, sometimes in life, contempt that we are healthy, contempt that we have a roof over our heads, we have someone by our sides. And if you don't have someone by your side, be happy, at least your baby is with you. Like that, sometimes you just got to look at the positive side of everything.
And not everyone loathes working from home. To some, the stay-home order has been a blessing in disguise. Here is Madora Sesay's story.
And then everyone's like, oh my God, when is the outside going to open? They're like, May 15. I was like, yes, let's aim for June 15,
That is my college friend Madora Sesay expressing just how thrilled she is with social distancing.
Right now, I'm not blaming myself for not being where I am in life because I'm like, well, it's a pandemic. There's nothing I can do about it at this point. If there wasn't no pandemic, I would be freaking out. I was like, oh my God, Madora, you need to get your life together. You need to get a job. Like all of this thought, they're not there right now because nothing's going on.
Social distancing has allowed Madora to do the one thing that she has been struggling with, and that is forgoing stress.
It could be that I'm used to living in chaos and that this is not chaotic to me because my personal life has been so chaotic. Or it could just be that I needed this an exit from the world and just be in my own world. I don't know what it is, but I think it's one of the two.
Medora has learned new revelations about herself during her self-quarantine, including that she has a green thumb.
We're gonna do a little tour of my plant. We're gonna start off with the carrots. This is a tomato plant. This is my baby. It's an aloe vera plant. I've had it for the longest. This is watermelon, pepper, another pepper. I think one of them is sweet banana pepper, and then the other one is spicy pepper. I can't tell you what that is. I kind of forgot I have so many plants. This is the money tree. This is where I go to grab some money to pay my bills. Some lavender, some garlic. I got some basil here. These are some lily that I got from the river, but they're dying. This is a sunflower. I think it's getting too much sun. Some scallion. I just used it recently. This is my sage to keep away bad vibes. And this is one of my favorite flowers, the moonflower. As you can see, it's wrapping up around the porch. This is my porch. And these are my babies.
She also takes leisure walks in nature trails and tries to meditate for 15 minutes daily.
I enjoy walking. That's something I would have never thought I would like to do. I go for 2-3 hour walks and I just feel so much better.
After graduating from Bridgewater State University, she moved to New Orleans in 2018 for a fresh start. She currently works as a case manager for people living with HIV.
So now that I'm working from home, I just do case management job, making sure they have insurance, making sure they attend the appointments, and just making sure they're on medication. And if they have any problem with medication, get in touch with the provider and we can work it out.
She says her clients, though homeless, are resilient.
They're just well, what's the worst that can happen? As in referring to the problem that they already have and the problem that they already face.
Medora, you have family back in Liberia.
Yes, and Guinea.
Have you spoken with them lately? How concerned are they of COVID-19?
Honestly, they're more concerned about me than than they are about themselves, because they hear the news that we have the most cases and they know that I'm, staying home, not going out, etc., etc.
Social distancing has also provided Medora with the opportunity to prepare for her master's program. What are you considering your master's in?
Public health.
Hey, baby. Hey, baby.
So until the country reopens, it is just Medora and her cat Moe loving social distance.
You want a pat?
Our high school seniors let everyone know what colleges they will be attending in this next video. Wareham High School graduation has been postponed to August 7th. Right now, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to move on to Today in History. On Today in 1987, in one of his most famous Cold War speeches, President Ronald Reagan challenges Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev to tear down the Berlin Wall, a symbol of the repressive communist era in a divided Germany. With the wall as a backdrop, President Reagan declared to a West Berlin crowd in 1987 that there is one sign the Soviets can make that will be unmistakable. That is to tear down the wall and carry on in peace. Also today in 2016, a terrorist gunman attacks Pulse nightclub in Orlando, opening fire on the predominantly gay crowd in one of Orlando's biggest nightclubs. In the end, 49 people were dead and dozens more injured in what was, at that time, the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history. Also today in 2017, Otto Wambia, a 22-year-old student who was taken prisoner in North Korea for 17 months, returns home to the United States in a coma state. After a 5-day stay in the country as part of an organized adventure trip, the University of Virginia student was arrested at the airport in January of 2016 for allegedly taking a propaganda poster from his hotel room. His trial lasted just for 1 hour, and he was sentenced to 15 years of hard labor in North Korean prison. By March, he was in a coma. He died a week later after he returned home. Also for today in history birthdays, we're making a shout out to Anne Frank, a Dutch diarist of Jewish origin who was born today in 1929 in Frankfurt, Germany. She was one of the most discussed Jewish victims of the Holocaust. She gained fame posthumously with the publication of the Diary of a Young Girl. And happy birthday to everybody else celebrating their big day today. That is all for Today in History segment. To learn more cool historical facts, you can go online under history.com. Stay with us. The coffee segment is next. Welcome back. Town elections are coming up very soon. June 23rd is the date. Today we'll be hearing from one of the candidates vying for the for the 2 seats on the Wareham Board of Selectmen. This gentleman, his name is Ron Bessie. Take a look. Wareham town elections are set for June 23rd. There are 4 candidates vying for 2 seats on the Board of Selectmen. Last week we got to hear from Judith Whiteside. This week we will meet and hear from Ronald Bessie. If elected, this will be Ronald's first experience as an elected official. Could you tell us about you?
Well, I'm 33 years old. I'll be 34 here in a couple weeks. I live here in town. My family's been here in town for many, many years. I have 4 children and 1 on the way. So I'm a family man nonetheless. I believe that without family, you don't have anything. That's the most important piece of my life is my family, and I would do anything for them. And that's kind of how I treat the people of the community, as an extended family, that I would do anything for them that I would do for my family to make sure they have what they need. Because a lot of times people don't know how to speak up because they're afraid of what the result might be. So my goal as being a family-oriented man is to give you the comfort of knowing that you could come to me with anything, and that I am going to do whatever I can to help you get what you need, when you need it, and how you need it.
From what I have read under Wareham Week, just a little bit of those candidates running for the 2 seats on the Board of Selectmen, it showed that you have a lot of experience as a volunteer when it comes to elections.
Yes.
And if elected, this will be your first experience as an elected official.
Correct.
So my question to you is, why now? Why did you decide that you are going to step up and be the candidate?
Well, a lot of thought, a lot of time spent thinking about, not only the local state of affairs, but from a state level and also a federal level. We're in a time now where I think change is key, and I believe that the change that I can bring, not only myself, but when I say I mean we. I want to be a voice for the people, and I've been in the position where I've wanted to have that voice, but there's been nobody really there to speak up for me or for the people around me. So that's my goal, is to be able to be the voice for the people around us, not just myself, not just my own agendas, but listening to what the people of the town, or whatever position it might be, are looking for. I believe we have some big misses from a local level because we're not paying attention to what the people around us need or want, and making it work. We have a lot of politically driven agendas at any level of office, and my goal is to really make that more transparent and work for you and me and the families around me to get what we need to be able to be a successful community.
What about our local government, and especially let's narrow it down to the Board of Selectmen and how they function? What about their work has frustrated you and actually inspired you to enter your hat?
Well, I mean, I've been just kind of watching from afar without really getting too deep into everything that's going on in the town, just to get an understanding of what's going on. I know one of the big things that I've been focused on, and I've had conversations with many people in the school area. One of the biggest frustrations that I've heard voiced, and it was even brought up in one of the meetings, was the naming of the school. And how the taxpayers voted to get the money to build the school, but they weren't really apprised of the fact that in signing of the package to build the school, that the naming of the school was locked into that. And that was a big issue in the last meeting they had about naming of the school, is that people had a feeling of how they wanted to name the school, and then they were kind of told, well, it's already been decided. I know, so that's been pushed to a future meeting. So my hope is that we can really, hash out the details of that, and really come to a resolution that suffices both sides of the discussion, for both the town's sake, but also the people of the town that are, paying for, most of the school being built and the taxes and whatnot.
Well, I thought that the school committee had come up with a solution that suffices the board, the school board, and also the town. That is having the school's name neutral, that is Wareham Middle School, and Wareham Elementary School, and having all the other names such as Deacon's and Minot inside the school, and actually honoring some of elementary schools that got dissolved over time. Do you feel that was a good agreement, or
I think,
to be discussed?
No, I think that Wareham Elementary makes sense because you're combining two different schools. There's a way to honor both families, and what we do, whether it be monuments on the outside of the school, whether it be naming specific wings of the school. There's definitely a way to make it to appease both sides, and I think that what was proposed makes the most sense because I think it's the easiest fix to appease all parties. Yes.
So let's talk about your assets. What are you bringing to the table?
I bring a lot of knowledge of not only business, but obviously of family, and some of the things that I am looking to work on here in town, such as youth, veterans, the older community. I have a very deep family in the military. I have family that's been police chiefs here in town, harbor masters here in town. So I have a very big push for our military and our veterans, which I think is an opportunity here in town. So I bring that to the table with having that knowledge of the military side and kind of what they deal with, life after, because that's a lot of what we really don't look at is the life after somebody has served. I have a brother that's served multiple tours overseas, is currently activated now with the pandemic that we're dealing with here, not only in the state but in the country. Then I have 4 kids and 1 on the way. So I have an extensive background of family, and what it takes to try to be successful as a family, but also know the struggles of having a large family and what there is and isn't out there from either a paid things for kids to do or unpaid things for kids to do. And then obviously, the elders of our community, the staples of our community, the ones that have been around for 30, 40, 50 years, are also kind of the forgotten people in this community. And my goal is to, bring back those people and bring awareness to why we are where we are. This community has been successful for many, many years, not because of me or the people of my generation, but the generations before me. And I want to do whatever I can to appreciate them and make them feel like what they've done in the past has been important, because it has.
What are your ideas in helping the elderly in our town?
There are a lot of programs out there on a state and federal level that I believe that we could tap into. But knowing how to do that and finding ways and time to do that, I think are the most important. And as a selectman, I would not only take the time when it comes to meeting as a group to really talk about town problems and town issues and what we're going to do from a day-to-day basis, but taking a lot of my own personal time to be able to find the resources and know what the process is to get to those resources and then present them to, whether it be the board or whether it be to the town administrator or whoever it might be, to say, hey, listen, we have an opportunity to be able to tap a certain amount of funds to help our Council on Aging, and this is what we need to do to make it happen, and then find a way to make it happen. A lot of times people will say what they're going to do, but I want the people today to know that I don't only speak and say what I want to do, but I actually put action to it. I put my feet on the ground. I dig deep. I'm in the trenches with you. I'm not just sitting behind a desk or behind a table with a group of people saying this is what we need to do. I am actually enacting that. I am actually putting my boots on the ground to find ways to make that happen.
Talk to us about some of your accomplishments.
Well, I mean, I can look at a lot of things. Being a family man and a community man, I've spent a lot of my life in churches, and those are where I've learned a lot about helping, about community, and really working with the churches to help the youth in whatever community it was that I was living in at the time, going out there and trying to help the less fortunate and understanding there's more to life than just what you're seeing, and really getting them to understand how life works and our responsibilities as youth, but also as we get older as adults, and really kind of just being mentors to those communities. You know, I spent a number of years in the city of New Bedford. I've worked with a lot of the youth in New Bedford. I've worked with a lot of youth in the town of Fall River. You know, I'm starting to work now here in the community here in Wareham, now that, you know, my roots are back where they, you know, started many years ago, and really working with a lot of the local programs that we have in town to try to come up with ideas to really forge forward and get what we need for the youth. I've sat on many meetings here in town with different groups to understand the economics of what they're dealing with to be able to keep these programs afloat, and the struggles that they have, because it's either one, from a financial perspective, or two, the program's available but the parents aren't able to either get them there or, you know, be available because of work schedules and things like that. So a lot of what I want to work with on the programs is to find ways to make it work so that the people can get their children into these programs, whether it be transportation, whether it be extended schedules. You know, there's a lot to be determined on that, but just the general understanding of it has been very important for me to know, you know, where do I need to start? And you know, my past experiences in working with a lot of churches and with a lot of youth to build those programs has been very beneficial to me now, because I can see it from a much broader perspective than really just being narrow-visioned and just focusing on one thing. Although it's one thing at a time that we need to focus on to get things accomplished, we have to kind of know what the whole picture, the framework looks like, so that we know how we need to build that out.
Now, all these programs, great programs that you have mentioned, that is to support the elderly, support the young people, and also the veterans, will require funds. We are at a time, due to the pandemic, not only our town, but even the state and also the country is facing a lot of financial restraints.
Yes.
And people are uncertain to how things can get back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
We have yet to assess the damage of that in Wareham, a town where we are already facing a lot of financial restraints as it is. So coming in, what are some of your ideas to not to bring us back to where we were, but what are some ideas to help us fight these challenges ahead of us?
We need to support our local people. We have a lot of small businesses here in town that we need to support. There's some businesses that have been here in town for, you know, 4, 5, 6, 10 years that a lot of people don't even know about. And it's not for lack of the businesses trying. I think it's our mentality as a people to focus on, we always see the big names, we see the glitz, we see the glamour, you know, we see the corporations of the world, because they have the ability to reach us in ways that maybe the small mom and pop don't. So I think as a community, it's very important that we have an understanding of what we have here in town. And I'm currently working on a couple of programs and ideas to help support our local community as far as the businesses are concerned. It's a work in progress. It's obviously been stalled because of everything that's going on here with the pandemic, because this is something that I was working on pre-COVID-19. But now more than ever, it's more important that I really push what I'm trying to get done and working with the businesses in the community. I've knocked on a lot of the doors. I shop a lot of the local businesses, and I've talked with the people in the trenches, the owners of the businesses, and just asking them, what is your one big concern? And to your point, it's, well, we don't know if we're going to be able to open our doors tomorrow because, you know, there's no money. So my goal is, in some of these programs that I'm working on right now, is a lot about bringing awareness to the people in the town, the businesses in the town, and really funneling the business to them. You know, we're a very high trafficked tourist community. You know, we are the entrance to Cape Cod. People have to come through us to go over the bridge. What can we do to drive those people to stop in our community to spend money before they go there? I think a big part of it is people knowing what we have available here in the community. We can go up and down Main Street. How many small businesses do we have on Main Street alone? How many businesses do people not see?
So people listening to you today, and they would say to themselves, Judith Whiteside, Peter Titlebaum have been in the board for years. Judith alone, who I spoke with last week, she is very involved. She has a long resume of involvement in this town and local boards. And they will think that they are more experienced and more equipped for that position. What is your argument?
Nobody's equipped for what we're going through right now. And I think that's very apparent on what we watch from day to day to day on the news, whether it be from local, federal, or state level. Nobody's equipped for it. Things change every single day. And with everything that's going on in the world right now, there's no better time for change. Change is what's going to help us move forward. And allowing me the opportunity as a person to be able to represent the people of our community, I believe is going to be so key, because I do have ideas that I want to work on with the people, not just myself. My job is to bring the ideas to the people and say, this is what I feel. What do you think? I want your feedback. I want to have a round table. I don't want to just sit there and make the decision because Ronald Bessie thinks that's what's best. Ronald Bessie wants to make the decision based on the census of the people and who I'm working around to come up with a common goal that is going to be best for all of us. So I have a ton of experience in a lot of different areas in life, but not in this current state that we're in. None of us do. It's how we work together as a whole that is going to bring us out on the other side of this.
Would you like to add anything that I didn't ask?
I mean, I think it's just important to, let the people know that, I am here for them. I'm not here for myself. I am an open door. I want you to be able to come in. I want you to be able to speak to me. I want you to be able to send me a message on my Facebook page. I want you to be able to pick up the phone and call me, send me an email. I don't close myself off to people after a certain time. I believe in being open for the people, no matter what the time of day is very important. And I think that speaks to a lot of what I want to, accomplish in the transparency piece of me, running for office and being a selectman, is knowing that you don't have to be afraid to ask me a question or come to me or feel like I am going to just turn a blind eye or a deaf ear. I want the people to know that I am going to listen. I am going to do what I can to the best of my ability, working with the people that are elected with me, because I want people to understand it is a board. It's not, Ron Bessie selectman for the town. It's Ronald Bessie as a member of the board that is making the decisions for the town. So I will do what I can from a personal standpoint to be able to affect my opinions and my ideas to the people on the side of me, to have all of us come to a general understanding of what makes sense for everyone. So if we get anything out of anything that Ronald Bessie would talk about, is that Ronald Bessie is going to do whatever he needs to do for the people and have the biggest voice I can for the people to get what the people need.
I thank you so much for being here this morning. I feel we got to know you a little better. At least we got to know who you are and what you're hoping to accomplish if elected, and where your passion lies. So I think it was very helpful.
And and I appreciate the opportunity to be able to sit with you and get in front of the people of the town to get a first understanding of who I am, and they will be able to get to understand a lot more about me over the next 6 weeks before the election, as long as it stays on target and doesn't get pushed back based on the issues that we're dealing with. But they will have the opportunity to understand a lot more about me in the coming weeks via Facebook and via some ad media that I might be pushing out for people to understand a little bit more in depth.
Fantastic. Well, to my viewers, thank you for joining us this morning. My guest is Ronald Bessie. He is one of 4 candidates running for the 2 seats on the Board of Selectmen, and he was here to tell us about himself and why he is running. For more questions and to get to know him better, he has a Facebook page, Ronald Bessie for Selectmen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, on Facebook, so you can reach him through there, and he will be able to answer those questions directly, or you will get the opportunity to scroll through the page and see what he is up to. All right, and he promised more information in a couple of days, so you can stay on point with that. And with that, I thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have a lovely day, Wareham. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us this morning for Good Morning Wareham. I hope you enjoyed our program. The show will repeat again on Wednesday night at 6. And with that, I'll be back here on Friday to share more with you. Have a wonderful weekend, Wareham. Bye.